and welcome to the show. Today we're headed to Versailles to find out more about two very prestigious guests who were regulars at the royal residence, that is, when it was still the home of the Bourbon kings. We're starting with France's foremost playwright. His words echoing down the centuries, Molière is being celebrated on the 400th anniversary of his birth this year. And he might have been the toast of the Comédie Française, that theatre here in central Paris, but the author, actor and director was also a favourite at the court of Louis XIV. As such, the town of Versailles hosts an annual Molière festival, staging productions in some unexpected locations. I went to meet one of the young theatre troupes breathing new life into his plays, with Gerôme Vassilacos and Loïc Chalavon. Some physical comedy, a little intrigue, and that trademark social commentary. Scapin the Schemer is one of Molière's lovable rogues.
Je te renonce pour mon fils. Ils ne font point dire bagatelle. Monsieur, on vous connaît, vous êtes bon naturellement. Mon Dieu, on vous connaît, vous êtes bon naturellement.
Si jamais il te regarde, faut que vous chopiez ensemble.
This is one of many of the plays being staged during the annual Molière month here in Versailles, which highlights the playwright's relationship with the town. And in this version, Manuel Levelly plays the title role, Scapin.
Many of us come from the Commedia dell'arte tradition, so that was the jumping-off point for this show. That was how we approached the characters. And what's different here, compared to other productions of Scapin, is that we moved away from the one-man show format. We're doing more of a choral piece. It's a real group effort.
Vraiment un spectacle de troupe.
Vous avez raison, il y a quelque chose à redire à cela. Mais je serais d'avis. Je serais d'avis que vous ne fissiez point tant de bruit. Mais je ne suis pas de cet avis. Et je veux faire du bruit de tout mon sou.
Molière pour un comédien.
For an actor, Molière offers you an infinite wealth of characters. I think his writing allows for endless interpretations. That's what I really love. When you look at his body of work, the dramatic possibilities are endless.
S'il était là, je lui donnerais tout à l'heure de l'épée dans le ventre.
This three-act comedy of errors is being performed in the former royal stables here in Versailles. And director Emmanuel Besnaud has made music a fundamental part of its staging.
This production of Scapin isn't tied to any specific time or era. However, we did want the play to be set in a southern city, probably on the coast, somewhere Mediterranean. So we were very inspired by the melodies of Italian tarantellas, which set that Mediterranean tone. Molière has a real flair for blending his way with language with his sense of comedy. And he's not really been rivaled in that field. Many people still use his writing to say something pertinent, and it hits the nail on the head. I can't believe that a play written in 1671 feels so modern and that we can pick it up so easily with so much artistic freedom. It's as if he'd left us this wonderful raw material that we can remodel and make our own. That's very rare.
Il faut du haut et du bas dans la vie. Et les difficultés qui se mettent aux choses réveillent les ardeurs, augmentent les plaisirs.
Versailles has been celebrating Molière Month for 26 years now, highlighting the playwright's relationship with its most famous former residents.
Molière
was respected by the king, who certainly recognized his talent. And at the same time, Molière was quite impertinent. We know that he was allowed to do certain things thanks to his status. The fact he was protected by the king We shouldn't forget that Molière chose the king to be godfather to his son who didn't survive, but that was a sign of just how close they were. Yet, through his plays, Molière was also quite critical of the church. We're well aware of that, due to their significant power in the 17th century, but also of certain members of the nobility, too.
Molière may have taken his final bow in 1673, but he remains an absolute reference in the French dramatic and literary arts. Today we have a striking visual reminder of his importance here in Versailles, this newly inaugurated sculpture by Xavier Veillon, an homage in bronze to the man who entertained the Sun King himself. Next to a guest who was such a regular visitor that she had her own apartment within the Chateau of Versailles. Madame du Barry was said to be Louis XV's favourite mistress, with the king opting to keep her close at hand. Her 14 personal rooms had not been open to the public in recent years, but now, after 7 decades, a team of specialists have been bringing those spaces back to their former gilded glory. Alison Sargent has this report.
It's an intimate corner of the Chateau de Versailles. Here in this wing, just above the apartments of Louis XV, are hidden those of Madame du Barry, the king's mistress. She was 27, he was 60, and he moved her into these rooms, over 350 square meters that are undergoing fervent restoration to bring back the gilded glamour desired by the Countess.
Madame du Barry was demanding. She wanted to show her rank. She'd risen from very low status, so she was the one who ordered that all receiving rooms be decorated with gold.
In the sumptuous bedroom, the gold leaf is already being laid, a precious film just 1/10 of a micrometer thick. The 14 rooms have taken 18 months of meticulous work. To restore the original decoration, artisans must return definition to the wooden carvings and carefully go over the final gilded layer.
I'm following the 18th century methods to make it matte and shiny.
In the private rooms at the back of the apartment, Madame du Barry also added her own flourishes, paintings that are still intact. Emerald green in the dining room and lilac pink in the anteroom. Here, even the closet is an original from the time period. This door will be left as it is, untouched.
On this 18th century closet door, we see that there are stains here which have real historic value because they're from the oil on people's fingers as they grabbed it while they were passing through. They're part of the history of this door, which is why we're leaving them.
Down the hall, this bathroom had to be repainted with ultramarine pigment, just like that used in the 18th century. In front of the porcelain stove, there were once 2 twin bathtubs and 4 faucets that supplied them with heated water.
We basically had running water at this time in the 18th century, because thanks to the pipes from the garden, there was enough pressure for it to get to the first floor, and even here, to the second floor.
Du Barry's elegant style is said to have influenced Marie Antoinette, her court rival and the future queen of Versailles.
And for a thoroughly contemporary take on the castle and its grounds, the Grands Eaux de Versailles are making their return this summer. These carefully choreographed shows set the garden's sumptuous fountains to Baroque music and embellish them with dynamic lighting effects. It's a chance for visitors to discover the woods and the parkland of the domain in a totally different light, and it's been dazzling visitors in one form or another for centuries. We'll leave you with a preview. Otherwise, you can get more arts and culture on our website. We're on social media too, and there's more news coming up on France 24 just after this.